Hello friends, dear learners and my dear student. First of all, I take an opportunity to welcome you at my TY BSc Analytical Chemistry class. Student, I am Dr. S.R. Lavade, working as Associate Professor in Department of Chemistry, KTHM College, Nasi. In previous lecture, we discussed the different types of interference occurs in flame emission spectroscopy, and we also discussed the remedies for removal of that interference in measurement. In today's lecture, we discuss the different analytical applications and methods of analysis employed in atomic spectroscopy for analysis purpose. First of all, we discuss the qualitative analysis. Therefore, applications of flame atomic emission spectroscopy. First application, qualitative analysis. In flame emission spectroscopy, qualitative analysis is done on the basis of wavelength of emission, specifically the resonance line is identified for identification of analyte metal in the flame. We know that characteristic golden yellow color imparted to the flame is the identity of sodium compound, but the resonance line of sodium 589.0 nanometer indicates the presence of sodium in the flame or sodium compound in the flame. Based on the measurement of resonance line, identification of different element may be carried out. Resonance line, that is the identity of the substance which undergo de-excitation from excited electronic state to ground state electronic level. Therefore here, during this, whatever radiations are emitted, that emitted radiation have a characteristic wavelength which is the identity of that particular substance. Quantitative analysis in flame emission spectroscopy is the quantitative analysis in flame emission spectroscopy is done by measuring the radiant power or radiant energy, radiant power or intensity of the emission line, particularly the resonance line. Therefore here, emission line, its intensity is directly proportional to concentration of analyte. In this way, the quantitative analysis is done in flame emission spectroscopy. Resonance line is identity, intensity of resonance line is the amount of material present in the flame. Student, before discussing the specific applications of flame emission spectroscopy, spectroscopy in analytical chemistry or in analytical field. We discuss the different methods of quantitative analysis, that is the analytical evaluation methods in atomic spectroscopy, and first method is called as a calibration curve method. The calibration curve method, also called as working curve method, is suitable for quantitation of analyte where the composition or a nature of sample matrix is known. That means we can prepare the standard solution exactly similar to analyte solution. In this case, this method is also called as working curve method, in which 5 to 6 standard solution of analyte element having different concentrations are prepared. Analyte and sample solutions are measured under analytical condition. The graph of emission signal or instrumental reading as a function of concentration gives a calibration curve, and from that calibration curve we can determine the concentration of sample. In this method, series of standard solution of analyte having different concentration are prepared, and instrumental signal for standard and sample measured under identical instrumental condition. Then a calibration curve is obtained by plotting instrumental signal as a function of concentration of analyte, concentration of standard, and a calibration curve is obtained, which is called as a working curve. Therefore, in this case, for plain emission spectroscopy, this is a emission reading versus concentration of standard in unit, that is ppm or ppb, moles per liter, etc. Therefore, here emission reading is a linear function of concentration of analyte, and we have a straight line passing through the origin. When instrumental signal is directly proportional to concentration of analyte, then we have a straight line passing through the origin, and this curve is called as calibration curve. Calibration curve, that is a straight line passing through the origin, and equation of straight line is y is equal to mx. In this case, m is slope of the line. Therefore, in flame emission spectroscopy, emission reading is directly proportional to concentration, or emission reading is equal to slope of the line into concentration. Therefore, concentration of the analyte is equal to emission reading of analyte divided by slope of the line. Therefore, directly we can find out the concentration of sample by using the slope of the line. Alternatively, if we have an emission reading of sample, then we can calibrate that emission reading on this graph in this way, and we can find out the concentration of sample. Therefore, graphically we can find out the concentration by using emission reading, and we can extrapolate that emission reading on calibration axis. Then we can find out the concentration when we extrapolate to concentration axis. Alternatively, we can find out the concentration by using a slope of the line, that is concentration of analyte is equal to emission reading upon the emission reading upon the slope of the line. In this way, calibration curve method is suitable or utilized for determination of concentration of analyte in atomic spectroscopy as well as in any instrumental methods of analysis. Now, second method is the standard addition method. Standard addition method is applicable for determination of concentration of analyte where the composition of sample is unknown. Therefore, it is impossible to prepare a standard solution having composition exactly similar to the standard, having concentration exactly similar to sample, and therefore here we can have a standard addition method. In this case, when the composition of sample is unknown, that is nature of sample matrix. Sample matrix means whatever the material present along with the analyte, that is called as sample matrix. When the composition of sample or sample matrix is unknown, then standard addition method is used for analysis. In this method, in standard addition method, two measurements are carried out. One for fixed amount of sample and other for same amount of sample, containing known amount of standard, Suppose, for example, a reading Rx is obtained for sample having concentration X, and a reading R1 is obtained containing known amount of standard, that is x plus s. And we know that in any instrumental analysis, instrumental reading is a linear function of concentration of analyte. Then in a PS, emission reading is directly proportional to concentration of the analyte. And therefore here Rx is proportional to, or Rx is equal to K into concentration of X, and R1 is equal to K into concentration of X plus S. If we divide equation number 1 by 2 or 2 by 1, then we have a value of this X. Therefore, concentration of X can be determined like this. Here, instrumental reading for sample Rx upon instrumental reading for sample and standard into amount of standard and amount of sample. By this way we can find out the concentration of analyte in the sample, and this is a formula of standard addition method. Generally in standard addition method, 5 to 6 standard additions are made with the sample, and graphical method is used for the analysis. Then in this case, if we by graphical method 4 to 5 standard additions of standard is done with the sample and instrumental reading is recorded. In this case, this is a reading for sample, this is a reading for sample containing standard, reading for sample containing second standard, reading for sample containing third amount of sample. Then we have a curve that does not passing through the origin, that intercepts on y-axis, that is a instrumental reading axis. Here this is a concentration of standard added. Therefore here it is 0. Here suppose for example 10, here 20, or suppose for example here C1, here C2, and here C3. Then by extrapolating this line to concentration axis, we can have the concentration of sample on this graph. This is a concentration of sample in the solution. Alternatively, we can find out the concentration of sample in the solution by using this formula, that is A1 or emission reading 1 into concentration of second minus emission reading of second into concentration of first divided by emission reading second minus emission reading first. Therefore here this is a formula by which we can determine the concentration of sample. This is a slope method. Here in this case slope of the line is equal to concentration of analyte, and that slope is determined by this equation. Emission reading first into concentration of second, emission reading of second into concentration of first divided by E2 minus E1, emission reading difference. Alternatively, we are also known about the another formula, that is concentration of X is equal to AX upon AX plus S into minus AX into CS. In this case, simply we have to replace this A as the emission reading of X. Here emission reading of X plus S emission reading of X into concentration of X. Therefore, in this way, we can find out the concentration of sample in the solution by standard addition method. Standard addition method is suitable when we are unknown about the nature of sample matrix present in the sample solution. And then we can prefer the standard addition method in order to nullify the effect of the interference which is occurring due to the presence of the different types of interfering ion present in the solution. Student, the third method is called as internal standard method. Internal standard method. The internal standard method is also called as spiking or spiking method. Method is applicable for removal of instrumental interference. We know that in flame emission spectroscopy, fluctuation in power supply that affect the rate of aspiration of the sample solution. That is, sample may taken in large amount or sometimes in less amount, and that affect the linearity of emission reading as a function of concentration of standard. To nullify this effect, that is effect due to the instrumental interference, the internal standard method is used. In internal standard method, in this method, a fixed amount of internal standard or a reference material is added into different standard solution of analyte, standard solution and sample solution of analyte. And analyte and samples are measured simultaneously using same instrumental parameter. Then internal standard material and the sample material is measured simultaneously by using instrument. And then a emission reading for in case of flame emission spectroscopy, emission reading of, suppose for example in determination of sodium, and we are adding a lithium as a standard. In FES, lithium is used as a internal standard. Therefore, fixed amount of this lithium is added into all sample solutions, standard solutions and sample solution. Then measurement of lithium and that particular analyte is carried out simultaneously. Suppose for example determination of sodium by using lithium as an internal standard. Determination of sodium by using lithium as an internal standard. Then in this case, we have to prepare the standard solution of sodium. Therefore, concentration of sodium, then concentration of lithium, then emission reading for sodium, emission reading for lithium, and ratio of emission reading of sodium to emission reading of lithium. Suppose for example in this case we prepare 4 solutions, first 10, 20, 30 ppm, and this is a sample. We add fixed amount of, suppose for example this is in ppm, fixed amount means 10 ppm, 10 ppm and 10 ppm in all these sodium solution. Then here the emission readings are obtained for sodium and lithium simultaneously. Suppose in first case we have reading 19, in second case we have reading 44 and 22, in third case here we have reading 54 and suppose for example 18. And for sample 44, 22, then 54, 18, then for sample suppose it is a 20 and again it is a 20. Now in this case from this emission reading we will observe that we are adding a fixed amount of lithium in all solutions. Therefore emission reading of lithium should be constant throughout the measurement. But in this case we observe decrease in emission reading, increase in emission reading, decrease in emission reading. That indicates that rate of aspiration is get changed during the measurement. Therefore, that also affects the emission reading of sodium, emission reading of the second standard solution as well as sometime the sample solution also. Therefore, if we take a ratio, emission reading that should be linearly proportional to the concentration of sodium, because here we are increasing concentration of sodium linearly, 10, 20, 30. That means emission reading should be proportional to this. But here we does not observe like this. But when we use internal standard method and if we determine the ratio, here this ratio becomes equal to 1. Here this ratio equal to 2. Here this ratio equal to 3. And here again this ratio equal to 1. In this case you will find that the ratio of emission reading of sodium to emission reading of lithium is a linear function of concentration of sodium present in the standard solution. And that means we can nullify the effect of aspiration by using this internal standard method. When we plot a graph of here, in this case, a ratio of emission reading of sodium to emission reading of lithium as a function of concentration of sodium, then we have here a straight line passing through the origin. That again we have a calibration curve and we have a ratio for sample, that is 1, 2, 3 like this. Here for sample ratio equal to 1 and this is a concentration of sample. Therefore, in this case, we can nullify the effect of rate of aspiration that affect the emission reading by using an internal standard method. Basically, standard addition method and internal standard method and calibration curve method are used in all types of instrumental analysis. And more specifically, internal standard method is used to nullify the effect of instrumental error. Standard addition method generally useful for nullify the effect of interference, that is a sample matrix, and calibration curve method is applicable for determination of analyte whose concentration or composition is little bit known. Student, this is about the 3 main quantitative evaluation method used in instrumental analysis. Student, now we discuss the special quantitative applications of flame emission spectroscopy in analytical field. First application is in clinical laboratory for analysis of biological fluid or biological samples. Here urine sample and their sodium, potassium and calcium content. And this is a very fast and effective method for determination of these alkali and alkaline earth metals. Therefore, clinically we can use FES for analysis of urine sample and blood sample. Therefore, blood, that is, we can determine sodium, potassium from the plasma of the blood. We also determine the same element from the urine sample also. Second field of analysis is a agricultural field. Agricultural field related with analysis of fertilizers. Analysis of fertilizers. Here the potassium content of the potash fertilizer that can be estimated very fast and rapidly by using flame emission spectroscopy. Third, in the field of food and nutrition. In this case, a dairy products, then soft drinks and fruit juices are analyzed for their elemental content by means of FES. Fourth application is in environmental science. That is very important application. That is the analysis of water. The sodium, potassium as well as calcium, lithium present in the water sample that can be estimated rapidly by using flame emission spectroscopy. We also determine the metal content in polluted water sample or industrial waste as well as river or in sea water. Next application, that is in the field of geography or geological and geographical field. Here the ores and minerals are analyzed for their elemental content by using this flame emission spectroscopy. In industrial field, this FES is suitable for determination of sodium, potassium or sodium potassium content in glass melt. Glass, you know that it is a super cooled liquid having very high viscosity. Before the formation of glass, it is present in the form of viscous liquid that is called as glass melt. The amount of potassium and sodium in the glass melt directly affect the property of glass, and therefore rapidly we can determine the sodium and potassium content in glass melt by means of FES. In addition to, we also use in cement analysis for determination of amount of gypsum, that is calcium sulfate, present in the cement. Calcium sulfate is added as a binder in cement, and its amount directly affects the quality of that particular cement product, and therefore amount of calcium sulfate or gypsum that can be directly determined by means of FES. Student, this is all about the different applications of flame emission spectroscopy. First one is in clinical field, agriculture field, food and nutrition, environmental science, geological and geographical field, and industrial field. In addition to this, where we have to determine the alkali and alkaline earth metal, then we can use this technique for analysis of any type of sample material. Student, after the applications of the flame emission spectroscopy, we discuss the advantages and disadvantages of FES. Advantages of FES. Flame emission spectroscopy is a very selective, sensitive and rapid method of determination of trace concentration of a alkali and alkaline earth metal. Therefore, highly selective, sensitive. Selective means it can measure in presence of other, means selective. If other metal ion is present, then it measures the sodium. That is a selective. Sensitive means how much lowest concentration of analyte is measured by that method is its sensitivity. Therefore, it is highly selective and sensitive method and rapid method for analysis of alkali and alkaline earth metal. Alkali and alkaline earth metal, or metals which are atomized and excited by using a thermal energy. Secondly, FES measures the total concentration of analyte. The oxidation state does not affect the measurement. It measures total concentration of analyte. Oxidation state does not affect the measurement. That means here whether it is Fe2 plus or Fe3 plus in this case, for example, but it measures the total concentration of iron. Oxidation state does not affect the measurement. That means it measures the total concentration of iron or a particular metal which is atomized at flame temperature. Third application is the measurement is highly selective, means it is does not affected by measurement does not affected by the sample matrix, that means interference present in the solution. Therefore, interference, when we have to measure the potassium and if calcium is present and if we have a proper monochromatic system, then we can estimate sodium in presence of calcium. That means measurement is interference free. Oxidation state of the material does not affect the measurement, and method is highly selective, sensitive and rapid for analysis of those metals which are atomized and excited by means of flame temperature. Along with this, there are some disadvantages. Here, FES is applicable for determination of atomic species. Therefore, it does not provide the information about the molecular structure. This is a disadvantage. Does not provide information about molecular structure. And sometimes the concentration of that particular substance may be found more if we does not remove the spectral interference. Spectral interference occurs in many measurements. Therefore, we have to require a very sensitive monochromatic system for isolation of resonance line of that analyte metal. And spectral interference, that is, does not remove even if the resonance line of two or more metals are not exactly overlapped, but that supports to increase the intensity of that particular resonance line, and therefore concentration of material found to be more when it is present in the sample. Here, for this purpose, an advanced monochromatic system is required. Advanced Last and very important disadvantage is that the analysis method is destructive. Destructive method of analysis means sample recovery is not possible. Sample recovery is not possible. And these are the disadvantages. Generally, some method in which we can regenerate that sample. For example, in pH meter, we measure the pH, sample remains as it is. But in this case, sample is completely destroyed. Therefore, sample recovery is not possible in flame emission spectroscopy. Student, with our today's discussion, you will find out the answers of following questions. Question number 1. What are the quantitative evaluation method? Quantitative evaluation method used in atomic spectroscopy. That means in flame emission spectroscopy as well as in atomic absorption spectroscopy, used in atomic spectroscopy. Explain standard addition method with its analytical importance. Explain standard addition method with its analytical importance. That means where it is applicable. By which method? Number 3. By which method we eliminate instrumental interference. Number 4, give all applications of FES and list the advantages and disadvantages of FES. Student, with our today's discussion, you can find out the answers of all these questions. Here we complete the total flame emission spectroscopy. First of all, we discuss the principle, then working, instrumentation, interference, applications, and now the quantitative evaluation methods. Student, with this we stop here. Thanks for joining me. Wish you all the best. Keep learning. Happy learning.